Hello there. Welcome to another video here on this Esoteric Circle YouTube channel. I'm Pete Haskins. Wherever you were at on your journey, blessings to you. Make no mistake, my friend, you are here for a reason. You're here at this time for a reason. And you are living through some of the most exciting experiences that any human being has ever lived through. Even though this is chaos, and even though it's very uncertain, even though there seems to be a tremendous amount of stress and a tremendous amount of anxiety and fear about the future, about politics, about war, this is a great time to be here. A great many things are happening right now. And behind the scenes, past our five senses, many things are at work. So don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. When you're having a dry period, when you are feeling like you're getting nowhere with your meditation or with your reading, you're not feeling it, you're not getting any dopamine hits, you're not getting any kind of rush. You're not seeing colors, you're not seeing visions, you're not hearing voices, you're not hearing angels, you're not experiencing things. What do you do? What do you do when the journey, the pilgrimage is boring? What do you do? That's our question for today. I'm going to read from Robin Amos's Different Christianity, and it is the chapter entitled Three Renunciations, chapter 7, and he talks about this idea of pilgrimage. Okay, now stick with me because we're talking about how to get out of a rut, right? Okay, and he gives us some hints here. Robin does. Inwardly, he says, pilgrimage is a question of heart, not just of head, nor simply of physical effort. It is, as Father I of Simon Petra once told me, a journey to a holy place, a place that can help one to discover the eternal within oneself. Pilgrimage is a journey to oneself. It is also willing devotion, and it is change enforced by circumstance, but by invited circumstance and willingly accepted. On the one hand, one intensifies devotion by giving it expression in physical effort, so expressing the unity of spirit and body. On the other, by leaving behind all that is familiar and easy in one's life, one leaves behind, too, all that is habitual and repetitive. It is as if the pilgrimage is able, in spirit and for the duration of his pilgrimage, to obey Christ's injunction to, quote, sell all that thou hast and distribute unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. That's from Luke 18:22. This, of course, is a simple way of thinking about metanoia, of redirecting the heart. For where your treasure is, there where your heart will be also, from Matthew 6:21. A modern way of looking at it is that on pilgrimage, we sacrifice time. Time, the most precious commodity of modern life. When we lack it, we bemoan the fact. When it is on our hands, we will try to fill it. But on pilgrimage, by leaving behind all the things one uses to fill this time, we find time within us for things that have long been missing from our lives. By making the gift of time, we become free of the bonds of time, and so learn to regain control of time. By doing things we find difficult, we break free of the habit of choosing the easy way in everything. Once free of this, we discover that it is this habit of taking the easy way out that binds us to repeat the events of our lives with little change. So, we overcome the imagined limitations that have too often become habitual boundaries to our lives. And so we discover that difficulties, far from limiting our freedom, can actually increase it. By sacrificing time, we can gain freedom from ourselves. But to discover this, we have to step outside the surprisingly narrow bounds of modern thought and modern action, to step without hesitation onto the pilgrim's road, accepting the difficulties of unfamiliar conditions as well as accepting new ideas. The essence of pilgrimage, then, is giving up. We give up the ordinary for the extraordinary, the everyday for God, and not as a bargain from which one expects return. God, reported the early fathers, makes no bargains of this kind. So are you in a rut? Is it a dry spell? Go on a pilgrimage. Maybe not a physical pilgrimage. I've taken several, to England, and that's what got me started with Robin and introduced me to this. I went 3 times there to England, and those pilgrimages that I took there were amazing. And one of the things that I found out was that whether I was taking an inward journey or an outward journey, whether it was an inward or an outward pilgrimage, the journey itself was the thing that gathered up the fine energies for me. It wasn't what was there waiting for me. It wasn't what I learned intellectually, It was the process of going. And one of the things that I also learned during this period of time when I was going there, I was learning to meditate, and I was going through a divorce, and I was really struggling with caring for my young son, and also the demands of my Christianity. And it was an inward journey that I did not expect. And that pilgrimage, that inward pilgrimage that I experienced, was just as big an adventure inside myself, where I found out who I was, and I found out how broken I was. And one of the ways that I found out how broken I was I asked myself, how do I love? Lord, how do I love? Teach me how to love. Most importantly, teach me how to love when I have been hurt. Teach me how to love when I have been rejected. Teach me how to love that person who has rejected me. Teach me how to love when I feel abandoned. Teach me how to love when I am alone. Teach me how to love when I feel like a failure and I have resentments. Teach me how to love when I'm angry. Teach me how to love. And that was an inward journey, because the answers were not easy. And I gave up all the easy Hallmark kind of answers that I had been taught and wanted to believe in. But that's the thing that got me out of my rut. I was in a rut for years, and I was bored with Christianity. I was bored with the church. I was bored with praise music, and I was bored with, continuing education for preachers. And I was bored with, I was bored with boundary trainings, and I was bored with board meetings, and I was bored with all the boring trustee meetings and all the stuff that preachers do when they're doing church work. How boring it is. I was bored. I didn't have any inner life, And I went on this inner journey with pain and with suffering, and I asked God, how do I love? Because really, there's only one emotion, and it's love. And as Robin says, all the other emotions are distortions of that one emotion. Love is it. Love is the energy that drives us. If you don't have love, you have nothing. You have nothing. So if you're in a rut, get in there. Look inwardly. Let go of the resentments. Let go of the anger. Let go of the fear. Let go of all this doubt. Let go of it and just jump in to the arms of God, whatever that looks like in your life. Christianity still works. People just don't know how to do it. And it's all about this inward experience. But it takes you, and it takes a work ethic. And you had to, you got to get into that rhythm of meditation. And you got to get into that rhythm of guarding your heart and not letting those emotions take you over. All those other things. There's only one emotion. It's love. God, teach me how to love. You don't have a choice. Love endures. Love forgives. Love encompasses us. Love is the source of all of this. If you don't have that, you don't have Christianity. You don't have anything. So if you're in a dry spot, if you're at a time where you don't feel it, work at it. Get in there. It's not all fireworks, It's not all 4th of July parades, man. I mean, this is hard stuff. Getting in there and really working at figuring out how you love. That'll cure your dry periods, your ruts. And say to God, all right, you say you know how to do this? Let's do it. And challenge God. Let's do it. Teach me. You say you can create a new creature? Let's do it. Teach me how to pray without ceasing? Let's do it. Teach me how to be a peacemaker? Teach me how to be merciful? Let's do it. That's how you do it. You surrender and say, I don't know how to love. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do any of this on my own. You're going to have to teach me. God, you're going to have to teach me. You're going to have to teach me how to love. Because I don't know how to do it on my own. And you go to God and you say, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Teach me. And you surrender. You surrender to love. God really is love. God is an energy. And that energy is called love. Blessings to you, my friend.